Speaking of Juggernaut, Bruno.
Yes.
Funny you should mention him. We've got a draft, guys. It's Big God versus Secret, and I believe we're just going to hop right into it.
Let's take a look. Oh,
Bam.
boy.
Wow.
Oh, my. Look at this.
How?
So, interestingly, the Shadow Fiend band first phase here versus Secret. Apparently, Arteezy's been spamming it in pubs.
With losses.
Maybe
With losses.
Yeah, he's been losing on it, supposedly.
So he got the losses out before the tournament, so now the wins are supposed to come. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
I guess so. First pick, Juggernaut by Big God. Nothing too unusual there. Secret going for this Dazzle Lycan very early.
Puppy loves that early Dazzle. We saw him do it a while ago. The only other team that is from NIP did it in Star Ladder. First ban, first pick Dazzle on like 80 or 90% of their games.
It's very popular with a lot of the CIS teams. Asus Polar particularly likes it. Empire goes for the Dazzle quite a bit. Normally with Avenge, but in this case, Avenge banned first. So Big God going to remove a Brood Mother here. I'm not sure if Secret have been running this, but Lycan Brood is a very scary duo. And actually, the Dazzle Heal Bomb works really well with the Spiderling. So I think it's a smart ban.
All right.
It's a pick that everyone is trying to avoid. Like we've seen a lot of Brood Mother bans today in the games that we've seen. It's just one of those heroes that it's very funny because when he was not on Captain's mode, people were saying, well, yeah, it's a hero that it's as a fifth pick is very good, but if you don't get it in a fifth pick, it's very easy to counter. That seems not to be the case. I think it was Ice, one of the first guys that started playing him non-stop when Brood Mother came into the metagame. It's just a hero that's in paper easy to counter, but in reality not that much.
Even when you have the counter, she's just so elusive, walking over the trees, moving to the edge of the map. I mean, Ice is the perfect example of. I've seen him like against the Legion commander and still able to find space, find farm, and put a lot of pressure around the map.
Yeah, and the ability that Brood Mother has now that is just like ability to change lane immediately without even being in that lane. Just as long as you have one web, then suddenly if people come to your lane, you pop 4 new webs next to the other one that was in the other lane, and bam, you move to the other lane completely free.
All right, Witch Doctor.
Wow, Witch Doctor, and not only Witch Doctor, Bristleback. I really dig the Bristleback here. I mean, with the Dazzle.
I want to point out
Secret's
Wisp has been ignored so far in this draft. Something that Secret for a while with Big Daddy were first picking. I don't know if they're going to run Wisp that much with the new lineup. I guess we'll have to see if they prioritize.
Navi with Puppy and Kuroki played a lot of
Wisp,
so
exactly. He's definitely a very capable Wisp player, but it looks like it's going to be a Visage.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a lot of... Look, both lineups, heavy physical
Huge
damage.
physical.
There's like no magic damage, really. Just Soul Assumption.
But when it comes to physical damage, Team Secret has the Dazzle Weave, right? So that should just either amplify it or protect yourself from it. So
it's a really good Dazzle game. And it's interesting because Big God are kind of picking into more physical damage after seeing the Dazzle pickup.
Yeah.
Well, truth is as good as Dazzle's ultimate is in paper as well. You rarely get to weave both you and the enemy team.
But even getting one is still really good.
I don't think you need to do both, right?
And you still have the power to choose.
That's
Do we
like trying to hit a
aggressive do
5-hero
damage,
black
or do
hole
we wanna
instead of
defend
like
and
2 or
live?
3.
Yeah. It's still that versatility that makes it so scary.
Let's also not forget about the Lycan How. Like, Bristleback early game could just tower dive with the Dazzle backup and How. And how, you just get run over very quickly.
Yeah, Lycan Visage, very scary.
Visage Bristleback even could like very easily first blood level 2.
And you look at Big God here. Can they actually put pressure on the Lycan? They have a Jug Witch Doctor. It is the makings of a pretty decent aggressive tri-lane, but generally when we see teams just give Lycan free farm, he really takes away and takes off. And the other option is, of course, Secret could look to run the Lycan mid. So that's something Big God will have to...
I feel like for Big God, a lot of this is trying to control the Roche Pit, not letting the Lycan just walk in there and secure the Aegis. They are Radiant side, so that makes things a little more difficult for him, but they don't have amazing Roche control. Now, I guess Witch Doctor and Magnus are pretty good around the pit.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more of like a scouting tool. Something like a TA trap in there would come in handy this game.
Yeah, and Secret can take Roche very quickly.
All that minus armor.
They're not particularly good at dealing with split push either. Like, their only catch is RP and Cask. I mean,
Wait,
you're not really going to be able to stop Secret from split pushing.
Is this their 3 core? Magnus, Jug, and Viper?
I would guess so.
Yeah.
And what is this 3 core supposed to do? Is Juggernaut going to out-carry a Lycan Bristleback?
That's what I was saying. Okay,
Maybe
hear
it's
me
a
out.
Jug on the
this is what. Well, it could be. It's
possible.
It's possible. But this is what I was saying. If you're playing 4 Protect 1, if you're gonna play a lineup that requires giving a lot to a guy, the only way that you can actually play this in this metagame is giving that hero that will get an impact 20 minutes into the game, not 50 minutes into the game. Like, if the 5 hero, if the Burning's hero was a Spectre, then you'd probably lose to a 3-core, because by the time that Spectre is actually farmed, the 3 cores will be able to easy handle that
Okay,
single
so
Spectre.
you're saying Juggernaut is a better hero because he could fight whenever,
yes, so
starting in minute 20.
you can give Burning all the priority in the farm, and Burning will hit the Juggernaut pick much faster. And if by that time you win, then you win. If by that time you don't win, you wouldn't win even if you had any other
Okay.
hero, because the other 3 cores
mean,
are going to get
Back
really
in TI4, Lamb did run a jungle Juggernaut,
Yeah.
which had mixed success. It could be that,
Mhm.
but
It is all about the physical damage. Now the Lich getting banned out.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with the Frost Armor. Secret, 5th pick. They've got their supports, looks like. They'll need... I guess the Bristle will probably be in Zai's hands. You're looking at most likely Arteezy on the Lycan, and that leaves them needing S4's hero. What are we looking at here? Maybe like a... I feel like they need some sort of team fight control. S4 Puck, banned. That would have been the obvious go-to.
Yeah.
Centaur.
Oh,
Well, it could be a Bristleback, S4 Bristleback.
Okay,
Big
so it looks
boy.
like probably Lycan mid.
Look at all this.
Arteezy, Lycan
physical.
mid, Bristleback.
off lane,
Yeah.
Centaur quick farming dagger on a safe lane is.
If they put this jug in the jungle, this is screaming Timber Saw. I mean, this is like a
Yeah, this
about
would
as
be
good
next
as
Actually,
Timber
would be
lineup
really
really
good.
is.
He's
Timber
great
Saw.
against the Wolves, great against these 3 strength heroes.
Like even okay, this is again crazy, but even a Faceless Void would work here, because
What?
all the cores for secret no really all of secret cores are melee.
Yeah, but I don't think you can kill anyone in Chrono. They don't have that much burst.
You have a Witch Doctor.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you got to be
Omni
careful though.
Slash.
That got changed recently, where the ward doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's
that's
in
a
the
work
Chrono.
inside
I
the Chrono.
cast a game
Put it
where a
outside.
player did it twice. They lost his team the game. So
Jesus.
you
Actually,
do have to be careful.
Faceless Void does a ton of magic damage because his time lock, and if you get a Maelstrom, is all magic. So if you want to bypass some of the higher armor, maybe that's.
I would,
They're all
I
still
would recommend
tanky.
against going Faceless Void in this situation. But what I'm saying is, all of 3 secret carries or cores are melee, and anything that can exploit that.
I like the Timber Saw idea much more.
I
Yeah.
mean, with the Magnus as well, all those melee cores, you can hit
I just think they're light on damage. You're up against 3 really beefy strength heroes with a heal backing them up.
We're assuming that Juggernaut is support.
Okay, it's
Will
an
be an
Earthshaker.
ES.
So
That's
it is
a lot of
core
magical
jug.
damage.
Okay.
Yeah, it also gives them something when secrets, if they start deathballing, now you have to worry about getting caught by RP, Echo, Witch Doctor ulti. It could work. It's the Lamb Shaker, the legend from MLG Columbus. Who can forget?
Yeah.
I thought we'd never see it again because he was retired, but you know.
But
that didn't last
no
for
one, no one retires in Dota. No one
There's-
retires in esports.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you
Yeah,
back in.
boys.
Except Blitz.
It's like crack.
He retired.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna play in Staff Cups. Dude,
Okay.
like join Dota's team is finally kind of legit.
Damn.
That's. All right, let's leave it at that.
Making hires around the staff cup.
That's
I like
okay.
it.
Yeah,
We'll sabotage Blitz. That should be easy enough.
sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Just roam on mid and I'll start raging. No problem.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys see the Red Bull Seattle land?
There you go.
All right, so I gotta say overall, I like the secret draft a lot. This is heavy on the physical damage, good split push, good pickoff potential, strong late game, and I think their lanes are pretty good here. It's to me, a lot of this game just comes down to the Earthshaker. Can he roam a lot, set up some early kills? If not, I worry for BG.
He does have the golden totem. That might be the edge that he needs.
Yeah, the Demolishing King. All right, well, with that said, Bruno, I think it's about that time.
Yeah, I think we're stepping out and we leave Andrew and David.
Which David?
Which one?
So confusing, Bruno. There's
David,
like 7
Zyori
Davids in this
and
house.
Lumi.
Zyori and Lumi. David Nanjang.
Thank you.
Take it away.
All right. So, Big God versus Secret, one of the more anticipated matches of our opening day, the group stage. Burning will take the Juggernaut. Gets a ward down nice and early. Am I supposed to be locking my camera on something here? Or just okay, so I can just ignore this? I don't have to touch it? Okay.
I mean, you can touch it if you want.
All right, I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's up, Lumi? What do we have going on here?
We have Dire's. I can't even see the preview screen. I'm gonna look over to
Okay,
the
all right,
left.
we'll share our preview screen here.
All
This
right.
is good.
So
all
it
right.
seems like Arteezy so far is deciding on going on the mid lane, although his item choice is quite interesting for a mid lane build.
Yeah.
Is he?
Hatchet
No, he can't be
shield.
jungling. It looks like a very safe lane oriented build.
Yeah. Uh-oh, we lost our preview.
What'd you do?
Oh, no, that wasn't me.
Alright,
Okay,
alright,
there
good.
we go. Okay, so up top, ooh, maybe a little battle about that top bounty rune. Nope, not quite. So it looks like Zai will go off lane on the Bristleback. Where does that leave the rest of the secret lanes here? Arteezy will take the Lycan, still kind of undecided where he's going. Looks like he is headed mid to rendezvous with Puppy on the Dazzle. So that leaves us with 2 in the bottom lane, the Visage as well as the Centaur. The Centaur, played by S4, soaking up all that farm, looking for a nice quick Blink Dagger.
Yeah, so I think LD talked about how he really likes Secret's draft, but I didn't really get your opinion. What do you think here? Who's got the better draft?
I like the Secret draft. I think it just fits so well in this meta right now. There's these big tanky cores that can also put out a lot of damage alongside surviving through a lot. And you look at the BG lineup, and it's not like a team of super squishy heroes, but I just don't see them being able to handle this kind of face rush once you have a Blink Dagger up on the Centaur, once Bristle's kind of coming online and Lycan's there. I think controlling Roche will be very difficult for Big God.
Yeah, I think Secret's got much more of the balanced draft, but at the same time, if BG gets for example, a 3-man reverse polarity, then things could get really ugly for Secret as well. So I think BG's lineup is much more difficult to execute.
Yes.
But should they execute, it's going to be a spectacular game for them.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, up against 3 melee cores, Magnus, it should be a game where he kind of shines. Should be a little bit easier for him to at least get a couple 2-man RPs at the very least. And we can't forget about Empower on Jug as well.
Yes.
That's very, very important. Allows him to solo Roche a little bit easier, farm more effectively, and just more damage output.
Okay, I mean, early game is just pretty standard pulling, harassing. I don't think we're going to see early first bloods, especially not in the mid lane, right? Both people is going to be farming away. And I think that's really not in the favor. Oh, as they said, not to see early first blood. A great fissure block is going to force Dazzle left, but How immediately comes out.
Exactly. The Howl is, like you pointed out in the draft, not something to underestimate. That extra damage adds a lot, especially in these early levels when those right clicks are more important. It's pretty serious.
Yeah, but I was saying, I think Lycan trading farm with Magnus, you want that early Vlads on Lycan, so I feel like the farm is benefiting Secret a little bit more there.
Yeah, looks like he is gearing up for a nice fast Vlads with the Ring of Protection, moving to Basilius. Oh, nothing too wild. Now Puppey rotating in, poison onto Zhao 8. I think he'll be okay here, despite Dazzle being hasted up. He does have a skewer. Actually, is he going to be okay? Puppey's doing a lot of damage.
He's going to have to skewer upwards, but he's got haste. He's chasing. In fact, he can snipe the curve if he wants. Bottle's going to come right now. This could be a first blood. Hasted Puppey going for it. The poison touch is going to come down. Is he going to tower die? In fact, he will. The Howl's going to come out. Shockwave trying to juke. The first blood's going to go to Puppey.
Okay, and he lives from the tower. Yes, he will, with a few hit points to spare. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Curl gets a kill on the Witch Shock, but now has 4 on the run. Burning may actually be the one that goes down here. He does the double edge. Dazzle ends up getting killed by a neutral. Oh, that's somewhere else. That threw me off. Yeah. It's okay. 1 for 1 down bottom.
Fissure on the top.
Jeez.
This is an action-packed game. I love this. 3-3 so far, but if you look at, I mean, most of the cores on Secret died, right? So technically, it's favoring Big God, but I'm not really sure
so
how much.
Where did the Dazzle die? Was that just an intentional suicide to the neutrals? Was that without a fight?
He just suicided to the creeps in the
okay, just for the TP back to the base.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, nothing crazy. So 3-3, but Secret, they seem to be the ones coming out on top. Lycan is the one racking up the farm in the mid, while Puppey was chasing the Magnus. Artor was just racking up that farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay in the sense that Shockwave could always allow you to catch up.
Yeah.
Because Lycan can't really flash farm the same way Magnus can, so
yeah,
it's not too bad for him.
No. Could certainly be worse. Juggernaut not getting huge farm in the offlane. Meanwhile, up top, ROTK in some trouble. Zai getting a very aggressive here, but no points in the goo, so not too much kill potential. Now, meanwhile, on the bottom, it's just non-stop aggression here in this match.
I mean, you really see the power of How here, because every time that gets activated, you have a very free Grave Chill and just start right-clicking, or Poison Touch and start right-clicking. You don't really need to commit a lot, but you still get a ton of harassing, and that all just comes from a Lycan in the mid lane. It's very hard to gank this Lycan mid because Puppey's constantly there with heals and Grave, so very well thought out draft from Secret. Very strong laning.
Yeah. Strong lanes and then just great synergy all the way through the mid game as well. One of the signs of a good draft for sure. Burning, still not getting a lot of CS in this offlane though. Only 9 last hits in 4 minutes. As we talked about, usually this team relies on Burning getting a lot of farm and doing huge damage towards the mid and late game. Meanwhile, back up top now, ROTK in a lot of trouble, but Puppey may be the one that goes down. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Dazzle for Viper. Zai looking for Lamb, but I don't think he'll find him here. Nope, just goes back to farming.
You know, normally when you just say Bristleback versus Viper, one-on-one, you would assume that the Viper is dominating him, being a range hero, it's slow. But just adding the Dazzle and the How, being able to trade up like that is pretty effective for Team Secret. So, you know, getting your opinion here, what can BG do to kind of recover? Even though they're trading evenly, you can see on the goal graph that Secret is dominating.
Yeah, about 2,000 net worth in their favor. Even the experience is going their way. I think they need to prioritize farm on the Jug. That's the biggest thing that I'm seeing for like, everyone else on Big God. Like, yeah, Viper, he's struggling in lane a little, but it's a Viper. He can still do a lot of damage. He can recover the Jug. They need him to help control these tempos, and even just for Roche control. That's the other big thing.
Okay.
I think BG really need to prioritize getting Roche not only for their Jug, but just stopping it from the Lycan.
I mean, does their lineup have a plan B, though? Because Jug is rotating up top. He's jungling. I don't think this is a plan B they're looking for.
This is more of a plan C is what I would think, but I don't know. I mean, the 2-1-2 backfiring a little bit. Can you afford to just sack the off lane, have a support follow burning around, and help him power through the jungle? I guess it's a little early for the Empower to really do too much here. No point in it quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, jungle farming is not bad if you have somebody else to take the bottom lane. Essentially, you're getting more farm for your entire team. But if you look at the bottom lane for BG, there's nobody there because nobody could stay there. So I think BG is just slowly losing out, and that's something that we talked, in the pre-show, that BG never wins their lane, right? So this is expected.
Yeah.
And the question is, can Burning carry 20 minutes into the game? And I don't really think so.
What's also scary here is that Secret's lineup isn't even really online yet. I mean, when it really gets scary is when the Centaur hits 6, when he gets a Blink Dagger, even when the Lycan starts moving around. He doesn't even have lifesteal yet. This is supposed to be when Secret's lineup is pretty weak, and they are getting a lot of farm. You just look at the last hits, and it's obvious which team has the advantage.
So I think the big priority here for BG is to get that quick blink on Xiao 8. Like, he is the person that could turn it around. Lamb getting a blink would be excellent, but obviously he's just playing a support Earthshaker. We can't expect too much from him.
Yeah. Up top, Zai initiated on as the Fissure comes out, but again, just no kill potential, especially with the Dazzle behind him. BG kind of limited in their options here. At least Xiao 8 is getting good farm, as you were pointing out. 1,200 gold here at the 7-minute mark on Brown Boots. He's doing okay.
Can he afford to get the Arcane, or do you think he just have to skip it and just go for the quick blink?
I don't know. I think he needs the Arcanes, but it's a tough call this time. Do you think he'll go for the Arcanes?
I think you have to skip it. What's your call on it? I think you're doing that, like, you're doing so poorly already.
Yeah, you're right. Just, again, looking at how far ahead these secret cores are, maybe you're right. Just straight for the blink and do something to regain momentum for your team. They have completely sacked the offlane now. Burning is still just jungling away. He has his phase boots at least.
This is like the slowest jungler.
I mean, this is, not very effective.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And the other problem, too, is that now S4 is just getting complete free farm. So you can expect him to have a blink in probably 2 minutes' time, especially if they knock down this tower. Arteezy rotating down. Explosive Haze picked up now. Maybe Arteezy even thinking about a Midas, given they're so far ahead. Just go greed mode here since there's no pressure on him.
Yeah, I mean, Midas give you like a quick level 16, which matter quite a bit. The uptime on your shapeshift is a big part in kind of drawn out battles. But we'll see if it's actually going to be Midas. Could be Treads.
Could be Treads too. Yeah, we'll see. It's more that pooling up the gold that makes me a little suspicious there. If you wanted the Treads,
yeah. The big difference in this game right now is that Secret is being much more efficient. So when you saw Arteezy pushing the bottom, Visage was trying to gain his level 6 on the mid lane. That's the efficiency that we don't see from BG. Again, nobody could stay in the bottom lane because a Stampede, a How means solo kill for S4.
Yeah. Oh. Top? No? Okay, I thought there was going to be some initiation there. Yeah. S4 happy as a clam down here. Very quiet from Big God. They are really dedicated to this solo jungle juggernaut. And boy, is his net worth suffering from it. I mean, the Visage is nipping at his heels. He's only like 200 gold behind.
Yeah.
Visage has just as much as experience also. They're both at the very beginning of level 6. This is turning into a support jug.
I think if any other team watching this replay, one thing they should take out of it is that you don't give away Lycan freely without getting something big in return. I think when Arteezy was back in EG, Lycan was, I don't want to say their bread and butter, but definitely a good, really powerful pocket strat.
Yeah.
And they're just showing it to BG right here.
You're right. I mean, you look
and
at
that's a Midas, like you said.
There you go. So Arteezy already #1 on net worth by a nice little bump. Magnus farming well, but it just feels like the perfect game for it. There's absolutely no pressure on him.
Yeah.
70 CS in 9 minutes, moving into the jungle. There's just like no way Big God can do anything to slow him down.
Oh, there's that Blink Dagger go, quickly approaching.
Yeah, looks like good call there for you, sir.
I'm still like, when I see 2150, I'm like, blink time. Oh
yeah,
wait, it's the old blink.
Those old habits die hard, man, especially stuff like that. Looks like Xiao 8's blink will come out right around the same time S4's does. His Blink Dagger now on his Tranquil boots, but this is even just a pretty fast blink for Centaur with the Tranquils as well. Yeesh, this is this is where things get hard for Big God, because Centaur has done pretty much nothing but farm. This has almost been a 4v5. And now S4 has the flexibility to move around and help his team.
Yeah, the difference between the two Blink Dagger is that Centaur's Blink means much more early game impact, because the cooldown of your Hoof Stomp as well as Double Edge is quite low compared to the reverse polarity. So you can set up multiple ganks, and it's much easier to set up that gank as well because you have your ultimate, the Stampede, to go with it. So we'll see if it's going to be a easy kill top, or will Magnus do the counter gank that he needs to. Blink.
Ooh, Zyori misses the skewer. There's a smoke rotation from Secret. Puppey as well as S4 on the way up. Looks like S4's smoke got broken. All 5 heroes from Big God grouped up at this top tier 1 tower. So even if Secret just stalemate here and kind of keep them on the edge of their seat, you've got Arteezy farming the bottom and Kuroki farming in the mid, starting to pressure these towers.
Yeah. One thing that Secret is a little bit hesitant in terms of initiating is that they don't know what the Earthshaker is. I say that they're jumping up top here, they're going on the Viper, but you see that Earthshaker constantly being in position. Because he's hidden away from Secret, they can't commit too much because you saw it over there, a single fissure will kind of break things up.
Yeah, so they do force out the Stampede from S4. Tier 1 tower up top looks like it'll fall, and minimal damage on the Tier 1 middle and bottom. Still, victory for Secret, despite having to burn that Centaur cooldown. Really feeling okay. Looks like Puppey was moving to a fast earn, and Kuroki already picked up his fast medallion. So Roshan options quickly opening up here for Secret, especially as Arteezy gets a little closer to that lifesteal, moving into the Vlads.
Yeah, I really don't know how BG can make a comeback here. Again, we're still seeking that big RP. But even if you get, let's say, a 3-man RP here, where's the damage coming from? Witch Doctor doesn't have the level 6 yet. I mean, at this point, Omni Slash is essentially a single target spell. Or, I mean, it is a single target spell. Yeah. You don't have any big cleave to go around. You don't have a Blade Fury to follow up. So even if you find a big RP, there's not much damage to really push things through.
Yeah, and Secret are just getting further and further ahead now with that tower kill up top. It's like a 5,000 gold and experience lead. Considering it's tied 4-4, that just speaks to how much better Secret have been working the map, finding farm, and just making it happen. S4 here, Invisibility Rune on, ready to fight. BG have a lot of reinforcements in the mid.
Ooh. Drop the Sentry to see it. Okay, are they going to go? Here comes the Cats. Enchant Totem, the Fissure, Blink, Shockwave. They're throwing everything on S4. He almost could have survived if the Dazzle got in range for the Grave, but...
Yeah, it's only level 1, so that's short range. Difference between life or death, but just showing how difficult it is for BG to do damage. That was just one hero.
Right.
Imagine if that was a 5v5. Is where things are...
Now, I don't want to rain on the BG fans, but even though they got a pretty potent kill on S4, they're not getting any objective from it because they don't have a Lycan. They don't have a Visage Bird to push off of.
Yeah.
So
at least they've got Burning farming in the side lane, though.
It's a very important kill. It's a very important kill, but they're not getting much apart from the single hero kill gold.
Yeah. Bristleback now with a mechanism picked up. It's a nice little piece there for Secret. Probably a sign that they'll want to continue to stay aggressive here. Of course, a great early team fighting item.
I mean,
good news, and really makes that Bristle tanky. Now 11 armor, 1,200 HP. He's pretty solid. He's feeling comfortable.
It would not surprise me if Secret just go ham on just 5 mid with this mech, because BG already lacks damage at this point, and adding a mech to that just simply makes them almost unkillable. The only dangerous part of doing that is, it makes RP much stronger as well.
Yeah.
And Xiaowei has been holding to that RP. He hasn't used it for a good 13, 14 minutes now.
Yeah, still no arcane boots up on him. Zai in the front lines. He gets the positive medallion buff. 18 armor now as he just tanks the tower. And yeah, it looks like you're right. They're just going to group up, stay as 5. Defensive weave on 4 of the 5. Oh, they've got 1 down bottom. Right. Lycan split pushing. But defensive weave, and this will be an easy tower.
He's there with Hao.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah, exactly. BG thinking about an opening. Xiaowei in the tree line with a haste rune on, considering his options, but Secret just ready for it. I mean, nice delta split, nobody on top of each other. There's just no easy opening for this Magnus.
Yeah, I think when you're ahead, and this is not just for Dota, but any kind of like esport game, is that you think about how you're actually going to lose. And I think the only way that Secret could lose is getting 4 or 5-man RP. So why don't you just stick the Bristle back up? He's got, I don't know what, 8 billion armor with medallion buff, with weave, with the mech. Yeah. And he's going to beat on the tower, and there's nothing BG can do about it.
Yeah. Viper, he's picked up a mech also, so FaZe Boots mech his opener. Some good team fighting for BG, at least they're even on that front. The other issue here for BG is they just, even farming evenly right now, just sitting back, not trading kills, but just trading farm. Secret wins that battle. They've got the Midas. There's no farm accelerator on the Dire side.
Yeah.
So Secret are in that lovely position now where they can sit back and farm, or they can take fights at their leisure. They can kind of do this however they want and feel safe on either edge. It's like we're just talking down BG so much, but I'm still struggling to see any real opening less Secret grouping up, handing over some really silly engagement. If Secret continue to play tight, crisp, and don't do anything too goofy, this is really hard for the Dire side.
I think maybe in 5 to 7 minutes, BG will have enough damage on Juggernaut where they kind of could smoke him solo into the pit and take the Roche for free. But I imagine Secret is, they're constantly checking. They're going to smoke into Roche themselves. RTZ walking in, not being smoked, but they will do it so fast that if you don't react right now, the chance is already up.
Yeah, and you see the Dire Vision, no clue. The Centaur's still smoked, ready to jump in to counter-initiate if something goes wrong, but easy peasy for Secret. And that'll be Artor with an Aegis.
Yeah, something that Zai said in his recent interview is that he feels his team has a very kind of strong understanding of the game. You know, how can we actually lose in this situation? We're so far ahead. The only way that they could kind of climb themselves back in the game is through a Roche. We take that away from them too.
Yeah. So now it's just about map control and crisp execution of these team fights. All the tier 1 towers down for BG, so it's 3-0 in tower count. Objectives, more and more of them going the way of Secret. RTK's been pretty quiet this game also. We see the mech, perhaps BG anticipating that Secret will be the aggressors here, but if you're not fighting, the mech is not quite as much of a value item.
Yeah, they have all the items that could give them a good fight, just not the opportunity to fight yet. Because Secret has been denying them the fighting opportunity.
Yeah, S4 gets another counter ward and just continues farming up. So he'll have about 1,300 gold. We'll see what the Centaur moves into next. I think we saw the Bristleback pick up a Vanguard. So Zai just getting even tankier. Yeah, Crimson going to be coming out.
You know, if you go for the trifecta, like the Crimson mech pipe, and just go down mid, does BG actually have enough damage to go through all of those stuff?
I don't know. I don't think so. But now in the mid, we're going to see a skewer onto Kuroki. He'll get pushed back right into the BG lineup. And, well, they kill the Visage. But, again, it takes quite a bit. No RP used, but they had to commit the Death Ward for it.
Is this the longest game ever seeing no RP?
Possibly. 17 minutes, no RP is a pretty damn long time. I wonder what the stat is on that. Like, longest pro game before an RP is used.
I know, like, Black Hole is one of those spells that you don't use for a long time. It's okay, sort of.
Yeah.
But RP is...
it's a little different. Like, Enigma, more than half that hero's power is the ability to get a fast mech, clear out the jungle, push towers.
Yeah.
You look at Magnus, a lot more one-dimensional. You know, you're fighting around that RP. You're not picking this hero for the Empower buff. It's a nice
well, actually,
bonus,
this game is going to matter quite a bit because Juggernaut is really playing 4, though, coming in about another Invis rune. Could pick off Ice here.
This guy's just the master of the runes. It's all about the haste runes this game. It's about the Invis.
Oh, here comes the Stampede. Lamb. Ooh. the Picnic Echo comes out.
Okay, well,
I mean, he wasn't doing much with that Echo, right? Like,
yeah, it's hard for him to get in position to use it. So,
yeah, so you know,
it's not a big deal. He lives. It maybe scares him off a little bit. You hear that big thud and just assume there's backup on the way. And now Secret, they'll just move into the tower. They've still got some decent time on the Aegis, about 2.5 minutes. So why not group up and try and knock down some towers? Glyph will be used. Now, this could be a little scary. I don't think Secret are going to high ground here, but when you burn the Glyph for a tier 2, it does open up that option to look towards the high ground and just try to Zerg down a tier 3, and maybe they will try for it.
I mean, they got the Aegis, and it's timing out soon, right? So might as well use it. So, all right, Xiaowei, it's all up to you. How good is your RP? Here comes that weave defensively. Fissure just to buy a little bit of time. Shockwave burning things down, but again, mech hasn't been popped. Do they have the Crimson Guard yet?
I don't think so. Or
okay,
if
he's
he
going straight back for BKB.
Okay. Yeah, so no Crimson. All right. Smart play, though. They don't do too much damage to the tower, but they do force BG back into their base. Burning stays top, finishes off that tier 1 tower, so makes the best out of that split push. Burning is actually recovered very well, and a lot of that is the RP giving you that kind of like mini Battle Fury buff, but he's now number 3 on net worth. This is very impressive from Burning. I have
you mean the reverse polarity? Or
the Empower. Did I say
you said RP, I said reverse polarity. We're just
the
terrible.
Empower. That's the
Empower,
spell we're looking for, but
he's actually going for the standard Manta style, but there's really no silencer debuffing this game. So do you think he should have gone for like a much heavier damage, because they do need the damage?
Maybe. I mean, Manta, not that bad for the split push. Gives you just a little bit of extra to play around with. You can stack and move around with it. It might also not be Manta. It could just be a casual Yasha to farm, and he'll move into something a little differently here. He's pulling up that gold, so we'll see.
Actually, Manta is pretty excellent as a farming item. You talked about the movement speed for Yasha, but even if you just pop the 2 illusion and just have it push away with the crits, you could mow it down pretty quickly.
Yeah, great hero. He's going for the stats build with a little extra in the crit. Jug kind of known for that value point in the level 1 crit. 200% to do 20 is pretty damn good.
Oh, S4 getting very close here to Xiao A, but Hoof Stomp's going to open things up. Is he going to die here? It probably will be. RP's going to get used. Oh, no, not like that. That's the first RP of the game, and he's using it as a survival. He might not even survive, and that is just leading the opening here. Blink forward for S4, going on Lamb. Lamb on the run as well. Casual death for Picnic. There's so much picnicking in this game right now, and I think Ice Ice is going to be dead as well.
Definitely, unless this cast does some serious work, bouncing around the heroes, it'll get stopped. Now S4 goes in even further, back onto Lamb, and ROTK there with the mech trying to turn around, but in comes Kuroki. They get the kill on the Centaur, but it'll cost them a Witch Doctor. ROTK and Lamb pushed back to the well, but meanwhile in the top lane, Artor gets a tier 2 tower. He also found a solo kill on the Jug while we were watching that fight. So
how was that even possible? Did you just get run down?
I'm really not sure.
All right.
But yeah, a lot of things happening for Secret in that fight down bottom. I'm sure they lose S4, but even up top, just getting a free tier 2 tower, this Lycan is huge. 50% ahead of Jug on net worth. This is scary.
I think S4 got a little bit overcommitted because obviously he died. And honestly, if you force out an RP and a Death Ward, and if the Centaur didn't die, they get Raxus right there.
Yeah.
Because honestly, how are you going to defend against a Lycan Centaur just going on your base? But because he did die, BG gets to save their racks a little bit longer, but they did steal a big stack, so.
Well, they're trying to. A lot of low health Ancients. Looks like BG will be able to clear out most of it, at least that big Drake and his friends. Being very cautious before going down to the low ground. Smart idea from Secret, though, trying to steal the Ancients. Very efficient. Puppey with a very well-rounded Dazzle build here. A little extra in the Poison, a little extra in the Grave. Nothing maxed out. I like this. Getting the best of all the worlds.
Yeah, I think Grave is probably this first spell he should max out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Grave
against Omni Slash, probably, if you could cast it quickly enough, it's a pretty big part of your defensive capabilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Arteezy picking up that level 3 Necronomicon. Well, I wonder where he goes next. Something like a Basher could be good. Just move into the BKB could also be an option. AC as well.
Yeah. They're just looking to break high ground now. Anytime an item purchase, it's either for pushing or just survive longer so you could push more.
And Ol Zai, actually not a BKB. It's an SNY on the way, so he wants to go a little more right click, be a little more aggressive. Great item on Bristleback. Gives him everything he needs.
So I think right now the 2 most important player on BG is the farm on the Juggernaut and Xiao A dropping good RPs. We saw a pretty poor one earlier. It's all up to Burning, I guess. All Burning teams, it feels like it all falls back on this. It's like, can Burning carry us?
Oh, up top, Arteezy may get initiated on. Smoke rotation. BG not going to be able to do it. It's nighttime, and they will be a little more cautious.
Okay, so let's say BG gets like Gangoff. They use the RP and kill Lycan. Is that even so good? Because if Lycan just buy out flat out and just go down your mid, like
possible.
Is that a trade that you want to make?
Probably not, but I don't know that Arteezy would buy back like that. That feels like too big of a risk. Like, yeah, the RP is down, but just face rushing the base.
You're so ahead, you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, they just don't need to. It's just an unnecessary risk. Burning gets caught down bottom. The weave flies through. He's losing that armor. Stampede's utilized. He'll try to Blade Fury to get away, but it won't happen. Dazzle gets the kill. Big pick for Secret, though. Jug, he grabbed a Battle Fury right before he went down. Interesting item pickup. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Lamb in some trouble. Arteezy finds a kill there in the big wolf form. And even in the mid, Zai in the front lines, pushing back the rest of BG. 2 heroes hitting the deck in the side lanes, as now Secret look to pressure the tier 2 mid. They actually glyph this. This could open up a window of opportunity for Arteezy just to push up into the top lane and get the rack going on.
Yeah, they got a 30-second before Juggernaut comes back. They could have all just rotated top, ignore the T2, but they'll take the T2 safe for sure, and they're starting to chip damage at T3 as well.
Yeah. I thought they may just try and split push the lanes, leave Arteezy top, and they'll go as a team mid, but instead they just take the tier 2. Arteezy moves back into the jungle, and I don't even know if they'll go for the high ground here.
So the Battle Fury choice on Juggernaut might seem pretty awkward because you already have the Empower to give you the cleave. But I really think that if they're going to win this game, they need big crits. And
big AoE damage to go with
big
the
AoE
RP.
damage. I mean,
Yeah.
Empower already gives you a little bit of both, but
So now he's got huge.
the more
bleed
base damage you have, the bigger your crits are, and the stronger your Omni Slash is. So I think they're kind of going all or nothing here. But it's really weird to see him go for it so late because
Right.
it's a great farming item earlier as well.
I mean, he did go for all farming tools, though. You look at Mask of Madness, one of the reasons you get it because it lets you farm in the jungle, opens up Roche, and is also really good with your Omni Slash. Casual Yasha, same deal. Just gives you everything you need, nice and efficient. So is prioritizing a lot of farm, but I don't know if it's working here, Lumi. 12K net worth lead for Secret and about 12K experience as well. BG have a lot of farming to do if they want to get back into this one with a Battle Fury.
Well, it's a pretty obvious smoke here. Well, actually, they're showing 2 people on the map, so maybe not so obvious. But we'll see if they're going to find anything.
It doesn't look like it. Kuro with now the Aghanim Scepter gets that extra familiar and those mobile wards. Also a gem picked up onto Kuro here.
Yeah.
Puppy bought it, but more vision control for the Radiant. Dire, they've only got 1 ward down, and it's up here in the top lane, this little guy. So pretty blind and not a lot of space for them to farm.
Yeah, essentially, if you look over to Arteezy, he's already 6 slotted. I mean, I don't think Midas counts as a slot, but
3
so early on, it might as well be. And he's gonna round it out with the Aegis. It's gonna spawn really, really soon.
Wow, it's a max respawn too. That's actually kind of unfortunate for Secret. I feel like they could have maybe moved in there a little earlier to put some pressure on the high ground, but again, they have the farming tools, so it's really not that big of a concern.
So can BG find a big ultimate, big RP?
We'll see. It's actually Secret that want to be the aggressors here. Zai comes down to the low ground, finds Xiao 8. Stampede used as the Dazzle Weave flies through.
Look at the Viper on the backside just getting run down. He's got to pop the mech just for himself.
And he still dies.
Yep.
He is left behind. BG were not ready for that.
They were
Very
not.
smart timing for Secret. Looking at the Roche, they know it's close to the max timer, hasn't respawned yet. Smoke on the high ground, and perfect time for a gank. Now this is a free uncontested Roche and another Aegis for the Lycan.
Yeah, I mean, Xiao 8, he got hit, I think, twice by the Bristleback, and he lost like half health. Granted, he had, Weave on him, and there was How bonus, but that's essentially how it's going to be every single fight. And Xiao 8's one of the tankier heroes, so Bristleback right now packing the damage. Same thing with the Wolf.
Burning, maybe initiated on up top. Zai in hot pursuit. He's speedy, 455. Ooh, picks up a Mystic Staff as well. Burning just TPs out. Smart play there.
The only play there.
The pain tray was coming. Well, the alternative was death, so I guess there was another play.
Have we seen an Omni Slash this game?
I'm not.
Kind of a bad sign if we haven't
I don't think so.
we haven't seen an Omni Slash in 27 minutes.
At
It means
least
that he
not
just
that I've noticed.
yeah, he's just farming. Like that's the only thing he can do. He can't go for solo picks.
But look at this. It's a Blink Dagger on Lamb.
All right.
That's steps in the right direction. It's actually a pretty big item pickup.
But they are just walking through so many wards.
They do have a gem now on the Witch Doctor. He just bought it. So maybe Ice can start getting some vision control back for the team. That could be pretty big. At least more steps in the right direction for BG.
Yeah, Witch Doctor got also pinged out immediately. So Secret is aware of the gem and the D ward that could happen. The gem got passed somewhere now to, I think, Earthshaker or... Oh, no, to Magnus. Okay.
Yeah, Magnus.
So small steps, like you said, baby steps.
But steps nonetheless. Not completely over yet. Secret in a very good spot, feeling confident, but still yet to close this one out. Arteezy farming the Dire jungle. He did go for the Assault Karas, so good call on that one as well. Just more tools to break the high ground, make it even easier. S4 invisible again. What is with this guy?
Man, checking the runes, it's the benefit. ROTK is going to get jumped on in front of his tier 3, and honestly, I don't think his teammate will come here. Can't even pop the mech. Ice, ice, ice. Well, just 2 ice, but he just dies very quickly. And that opens the door up for that tier 3. We're going to see a magical... Oh, Echo's going to come through. The RP's going to hit on everybody. And here comes the Omni GG Slash with the Battle Fairy, with the Empower, but nobody dies. In fact, it's going to be BG dying. What? Is that the game?
How are they still alive?
I think that's the game because Secret's going to
too.
run you over now.
And buyback status not looking so good for the Dire. At
Yeah,
least
they're
3
going
of them
for
don't
the
have it.
throw.
Straight. I mean, why the hell not? That was BG's entire rotation. Even if they had buybacks here for all 5 heroes, what do they do? Where does the damage come from? I guess the Jug, but they'll just jump on him. What a perfect setup for BG. Everything going their way, and just not enough damage. I saw those cleaves, and I was like, Secret is screwed.
It looked
BG
really
is
good.
doing it, and then their whole team imploded.
Yeah. I mean, coming into this game, we were saying it would shock us if Secret doesn't play close to perfect and play extremely well. And this is one of those games. It might be very boring for the viewers out there, but it's one of the most well executed game I've casted. Just never really overcommitting. I think the only time that, if you air quote, that they overcommitted was S4 diving a little bit deeper than he needed to.
Yeah, that
and
bottom
gave
tier
a
too.
solo kill. Maybe could have ended the game 5 minutes
They
earlier.
still got like 3 kills out of that exchange anyway, though,
Right.
so it was
So-
still pretty good. Very crisp from Secret. As we pointed out, like looking at that game, the only way BG can get into this is if they get a 5-man RP, if Secret dive the base, do something really silly, and they played very controlled.
I mean, they tanked the 4-man RP at the end, right?
Yeah.
They were so far ahead with like mechs and
They did it with
ACs,
style.
Yeah,
Just, we got this.
didn't matter.
Wow. What a game. Secret just looking so strong. And would you say that was an outdraft or an outskill, Lumi? Or maybe a combination of both?
I think they didn't really give respect to the Lycan.
Yeah.
And their
definitely.
lanes were not built to either win the other side lanes or gank RTZ enough. So maybe outdraft, maybe I think it's a combination of both.
Okay. Well, we've got Bruno and LD joining us again on the panel.
What's up?
What a slap.
That
Huh?
was brutal.
We were talking. We were actually watching it with Blitz and Gods right there, and we're very questioning of Big God's draft.
Yeah, they see the Dazzle picked up really early.
Yeah.
Heavy split push, heavy physical damage, and physical damage mitigation, right? They had Bristleback, who builds tanky, Lycan, who builds tanky, Dazzle, who makes everyone tankier, and they go for Magnus Jug after seeing that.
Yeah.
And,
And that Jug.
and then there was
And
a lot
then
of
Witch
summons.
Doctor after that as well.
And then they went further into physical damage. I think you
Makes
look
sense.
at the draft, and if you're going to do that, you have to get ahead. But they had no way to get ahead because they were running a Magnus mid. He can't pressure Lycan at all. In fact, he's getting out CS for minute 1. Even the Viper safe lane wasn't dominating. He ends up going down. Like, you pick a Viper, you goddamn better win your lane. Didn't even come close.
Yeah.
They got nothing out of the laning stage. And on top of that, they didn't have like a GG Wombo combo. And
Well, we saw
certainly
at the
not.
end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were like the Omni GG slash, and then
then,
one hero dies.
Wait,
one
nobody
drop loss.
actually died.
Yeah,
so
there was like a 2-second window. I was just like, that's a big RP. That the double cleave is actually working. They're losing health, and then that was it. They're just after the RP stun was done, Puppy just healed them all up. And
I think this game really does show, though, that Jug is not something like there was a period when the patch first hit where everyone's picking Jug. Jug's winning a lot of games. Oh, Jug's OP. Kind of like the Skywrath Mage madness around TI4, but teams start to figure out the hero has weaknesses, does nothing against BKB. If he doesn't get a lot done in the laning stage, he falls off. And I think we see with Jug here, summons are good against him, plus armor's good against him. Heroes that can survive that initial burst, and then they turn around and win the fight. Troll was ignored in the first stage, and I think looking back at this game, that's something that Big God have not been running at all, but I feel like you really want to have that hero in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Troll could have actually put pressure on the Lycan in the laning stage, slow down his farm, give them a little more Roche potential, giving them just more damage in general. But
it seems
it's
like
very easy to second-guess the draft. I think the big thing to look at for me is nobody knows what Secret's going to pick coming into this tournament, so it's really hard to draft against them.
it seemed like it wasn't just the heroes against the Jug, but also how they laned it. He went off lane in a dual lane, and it sort of backfired. He didn't have any farm. He was relegated to the jungle at level 4. So his Omni Slash came online way too late. We didn't even see an Omni Slash until like that last fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what they could have done, though, because we were talking about it's like if you put the Viper mid, perhaps, to slow down the Lycan, but then you're running a Magnus safe lane with an Earthshaker. Bristleback Dazzle is going to destroy that.
they
You put
jungled
the
up-
Magnus off lane, he's going to have a hard time against the dual lane that Secret's running there. So I feel like just looking at the way the heroes were distributed, they didn't have a good way to lane.
Yeah. I mean, they jungled the Jug anyway, so they should have just picked the Timbers.